Hello and welcome once again to Hour 1. As always, I'm Charlie, and this time we'll be checking out the game Mad Max. As always, I'll be playing the first hour of the game and giving my thoughts and impressions on it afterwards. With that being said, though, let's get to it. Starting the timer now. Alright.
Need water.
No shit, Max.
You're the driver.
That's right.
Then Chumbucket is your man. I'm your man. Yes, I am. See, I have a vehicle that can take you to your car. I do say. That's right. She's not running now. Sorry for that. I came here for the parts. You see, I'm a black finger. I can make it work again. And I think you do, too. It's gonna need an overhaul.
Don't go stray.
No, I won't. I know you'll find me and dismantle me. I know. Chumbucket's not stupid.
I don't feel this sprinting is that much faster. Nice dynamic transition, though.
You regret coming here, boy.
Batman combat. Still can't move and shoot, huh? Interesting. How do I get up? That was a waste. Why can't I climb up there? Oh, because I had to climb up the front with the fancy yellow edge.
What is this place?
You are in the outer graves. Over there is the great white.
An ancient seabed.
I'm not sure. No, but we are at the bottom. It doesn't get any lower than this.
Doesn't look like much just yet.
There she is.
This ain't her car. It's just a mess of parts.
No. She's knowledge from the numinous, divinely inspired. She wills herself upon this world. Look! See? Here. Divine meets drive shaft and a symbiosis of faith. Modded and made to measure. You want some of that old-time religion, huh? I got a classic whammy turbo high dog. Huh? Hell yeah! Bulletproof and torture tested. Statically upgraded with Chumbucket overdrive. Coils and springs, shocks and links too.
It's gotta be 8 cylinders, nothing less.
We will get there. Yes. First, we have to get her beautificial body.
This definitely handles better than the buggy did. Of course, that's not really hard.
We're low on fuel. Unfortunately, with gas time comes the blessings of gasoline. We should find enough fuel for us to make it to the graveyard. Over there! Fuel cans!
Let's fucking do this.
Stay back! Fill her up, huh? All the way to the brim.
Wonder what happens when you run out of fuel and there's nothing nearby. Turning's a little iffy, but... or handling, I guess, technically. It is a base level car, Charlie. Stop complaining too much. So that's exactly right how that whole mechanic works.
Exaltations! She's cracked open. Ah,
Did not see that coming. Was not expecting exploding chandelier. Definitely was not expecting exploding chandelier.
More traps ahead.
Oh, they're really explosive. They're literally mines, not chandeliers. Makes sense. Car's a little bit on fire. Not good. Shotgun is a zip line. Why the fuck not? Totally a person up there.
Yes! There you are, Saint! And you got the whole world up there, in your hand! You got a choice to make. Which one shall be your bride?
I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that crazy guy, Chumbucket is more interesting than Max is. There we go. I do not see myself coming to love this ram. Maybe I can get used to it. Take that back. Woo!
It needs repairs now.
That's a fun function. The hell just happened? What if I park him closer if he'll do stuff like shoot at people for me? Yeah. Guessing no.
Gates defended. War crier.
Tank is speeding away from it.
We'll rip it off! Harpoon awaiting your command! And we win again!
Gotta shut him up. making that racket.
Oh, that makes sense. Whoa! That came out of nowhere.
If you have to wander solo, please take this flare. And when you need old chum, point skywards and fire.
Is Chum allowed to drive the prophet, sage, priest, whatever the hell I'm called's vehicle?
Remnants of a ruined past. You say you
I like your
seek
turtle
the
shell.
plains of silence, but do you not wander them right now? The remains of your life, a perpetual flight.
Alright, so that's an hour and a little bit. I couldn't pause during the cutscene, so I had to kind of let it play out, and then the little menu afterwards, but that's of no real consequence. So, Mad Max, I'm actually surprisingly divided on this game, because there's kind of two games in here. There's a shitty Batman Combat clone, not shitty, but kind of meh Batman Combat clone, and the promise of a really cool car combat game. Now, in the interest of total honesty, full disclosure, whatever you want to call it, I have actually played this game before, and it was at E3. And I got to play a lot of this kind of messing about with a very upgraded version of the Magnum Opus car combat section. It was a lot of fun. And that seems to be the focus of the game. It's for those of you not familiar with Mad Max, the franchise, Mad Max has always been more about the world and the cars and just kind of the reality of where Max is as opposed to Max himself. And from that perspective, the game absolutely nails the Mad Max, whatever you call it, the imagery, the ideas. It's absolutely about the car. It's absolutely about how horrible this desert is. It's really not about Max, which is where some of the issue comes in. Right off the bat, you have two characters. You have Max and Chum Bucket. And Chum Bucket's your mechanic, and Chum Bucket, at least in my view, is about 1 billion times more relatable and interesting than Max is right off the bat. And I kind of wish I was playing as Chum Bucket. Part of me almost wishes this wasn't Mad Max in a Mad Max game, but more a Mad Maxian game in the Mad Max world where you're playing someone who just is trying to get by. I get how you have to play as Max to ground this in the fan base, and Max is the recognizable character of he's the only character of the franchise, really, aside from the cars and the world. But I guess for me, Max has never been the star of any of his movies. And, we'll get to that in a second, though. And unfortunately, with a video game, you need a main character, and Max is a very good center point for the chaos and the madness of the Mad Max universe, but with the exception of the very first movie, he's not ever the most interesting part. He's a cool part, but he's never what people think of as the best part of the Mad Max franchise. So, and moving on from that to, how it's best of calling it, to the idea of the Mad Max universe. If you're if the first Mad Max movie you saw was Fury Road with Morton Joe and Furiosa, and the new Mad Max, I'm blanking on what I think it's the guy who played Bane, I think, I'm blanking on his actor's name. This game will feel a little bit weird. This game is very much a throwback to the older Mad Maxes, and unfortunately it's a throwback to Thunderdome. Thunderdome is, in my view, the worst of the Mad Max movies for a variety of reasons, one of which that's kind of 3 movies all crammed into one, which made it a hot, confusing mess and all about messiahs. But at the same time, the very iconic, super post-apocalyptic Desert Raider, crazy outfits, people wearing like hubcaps for chest armor world is very much that of Thunderdome. And that's what the Fury Road stuff was also based off of. Like, Fury Road, if that's only familiar with, you might be familiar with the best Mad Max movie. I personally love Road Warrior, the second one, a little bit more because it's the first really good Mad Max. It kind of sets the tone for all the other ones. But from a pure how awesome is the movie standpoint, I think Fury Road is better. And this is not Fury Road. This is the original Mad Max trilogy, which is not a bad thing. But if you're looking for that level of action and intensity in that version of Mad Max, which, again, is not a bad version of Mad Max, you might be a little off-put by this. The original version of Mad Max is a little bit gruffer and less likable and more toned back. In Fury Road, Max was really not the star of the movie. He was kind of there for the world to take place around, like Furiosa, and again, the cars and the world and the people in it were mostly the stars. But in the original 3, Max was the main character, and the world revolved around him, and it was a much larger world. And that's what this game is. It's a much, much larger, which again goes back to my idea of I'd rather be playing a strange, random I'd rather be playing one of the people escaping from Gastown, or working for a Morton Joe, or working for even Scrotus to a certain extent, than Max in this world, because I feel like I'm tied down to the identity of Max. I'm not saying I should be able to be a baddie, but it doesn't need to be Max, and they've done a good job of recreating the original Mad Max. The voice is a little strange. It's a little off-putting, I guess. It's a little too Batman growly for my taste, but it's something about how you're playing as Max is weird, especially when you have this amazingly interesting character, Chumbucket, who, like, straight up worships cars. He calls you, like, the Prophet and the Sage and the Crusader, and a bunch of us, like, this guy's religion is obviously very much based around just worship of the drivers. And now that I've gotten on that huge Mad Max tangent, back to the game. Like I said, there's kind of 2 games here. The combat, the hand-to-hand kind of foot combat, it's got some interesting stuff going on, like the layered things where, like, enemies get buffs, and then they get real fucking hard. But before that, they're pretty easy, and I'm willing to bet that if, as I get better at the game, unlock more of actual Max's upgrades, they'll get easier and stuff like that. It feels like a little intermission between what feels to be the intent of the game, which is the car stuff, and I have not gotten to a lot of car stuff just yet. I'm actually falling back on a bunch of my E3 experience, where that was all about just kind of fighting caravans and loan cars and driving around and causing a certain level of mayhem in the magnum opus. Like, on that same note, actually, the difference between the magnum opus I have now and the magnum opus I played with at E3 is staggering, and that's a really good thing in this game. And hopefully the star of this game really does eventually become the magnum opus, as it should be, because Mad Max is all about the goddamn cars. And it's already starting off that way, where you're building your Wastelander vehicle, you're building the magnum opus, and it's not so much you can customize it to your heart's content, but you can build the best magnum opus possible. And you got some customization like paint jobs and decals, which are neat, but I wish there was some option. I told through the kind of upgrades and option menu, and there wasn't like unique things you could have one or not the other. Like, Mad Max is not so much about guns because they're rare and bullets are hard to get by, but like the harpoon gun is awesome. I know for a fact later you get like thunder sticks and the explosive javelin things, and those are pretty freaking badass too. Being able to swap the harpoon up for a Gatling gun would be neat, but it also, I'm sure, would wreck a bunch of the mechanics of the game. Little details like the car can run out of gas. I'm not sure how big an issue that's going to be because I haven't had to deal with it yet since I fueled up that one time, but who knows? Hopefully it won't be a huge issue. I was actually kind of hoping I might run out of gas a second time at random to see what the hell happened in that, because I could imagine that being a really interesting and sucky to deal with mechanic potentially, but I I don't know in that case. I barely scratched the surface, I feel, in the first hour of the game, which is a good thing because you really want a Mad Max game to be a big, horribly expansive world to explore. So the combat's a lot of fun, as I remember it being, and when you start off this game, your car is shit, as it should be. Like, tire gripping's bad, your acceleration's horrible, aiming works pretty well, like, and you're bad at controlling the car. If you're familiar with the Twisted Metal re-release happened 5-6 years ago now. Wow, it's saddening to think, but maybe not that long. But the idea was a fighting game with cars, and what I remember from the E3 and they've started to get into with this is it's absolutely a fighting game with cars in the best way possible. So, I guess to try and rein this all back, because I can go about Mad Max forever, I am partially biased, and the fact I'm conflicted on this game should be a bit of a red flag for you. If you're a hardcore Mad Max fan, and you're a gamer, fucking pick up this game. There's never been a better playable version of Mad Max ever made, as best I can remember. This game is really... it nails the feel of what Mad Max is all about. If you're looking for an interesting car game or an post-apocalyptic game to hold you over to Fallout 4, this might not be a bad one either. I occasionally make the joke of I am waiting for the Mad Maxian apocalypse, which I've been promised by media and film, and to say I love the concepts and ideas and overall design and just feel of the Mad Max universe is an understatement. It's one of my favorite, like, the car, fuel hoarding, gun hoarding, everything's a desert, people have mohawks, because why the fuck not? Burning Man, dream fulfilled, except not Burning Man, is one of my favorite things in kind of sci-fi fantasy. I love this apocalypse, if that makes any goddamn sense. I'm so happy to see it represented. The game is solid. I have nothing too bad to gripe about the game. It is off to a just ungodly slow start, and I could imagine the next 2-3 hours of the game are me just getting the parts to make the magnum opus a viable combat engine, and then the game cuts you loose. And when that happens, I'll probably have a blast at it, but dear God, is it starting off slowly. Like, I'm not sure how to explain how slowly it feels like it's getting off to, and not a bad thing. Like, again, this feels to be a lot of layered depth to the combat, and I'm getting used to it and stuff like that, but the mission into the fortress felt more like a slowing down than real progress. It was like, yeah, go blow up this gas thing. Why? 'Cause it's there and they stole your old car. Okay, does this get me parts for my car? Not really. Not sure I care so much then. I get my old car back? Not really. Okay, fair enough. We'll do it because story reasons happen. And yeah, comparing this game to Thunderdome, I think, is the both best and worst thing I can do. From a design standpoint, this game is exactly what you want from a Mad Max game. From a story standpoint, there's a lot of Messiah, Max's inner turmoil, mental stuff going on, which is, in my view, where the weakest parts of the Mad Max franchise lie, in Max the character. And again, he is the main character of a video game now. We're going to have to care an awful lot about Max to get you through, and that could become a major hindrance. I don't know, and I'm just rambling at this point because I feel like I should talk more about this game, and I'm not being able to form a totally coherent thought about my feelings because I am so conflicted. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but there's something nagging at the back of my brain. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it so far, but like I keep saying, there's something that feels a little off, and maybe it's how much time I'm spending dealing with Max, the annoying character. Not annoying, but Max, the character I've already dealt with in 4 movies kind of thing. It's not Fury Road, which is the most recent Mad Max, which might confuse some people. That's a very action-driven Mad Max. And this is very much Road Warrior, original Mad Max, Thunderdome. Lots of driving, lots of desolation, lots of what does it mean to be human in the post-apocalyptic kind of thing, with action sprinkled throughout. But yeah, no, this is definitely the best Mad Max game I've played ever, I want to say. It succeeds where the promise of Rage kind of failed, in my view. The world is beautiful. The game runs great, as best I can tell. I finally can experience the Mad Maxian apocalypse TV, film, and cinema and video games have been promising me forever. And for that, I am exceedingly grateful. Now, where the fuck is my car?
Something Wicked Studios.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up down below, you share us with all your friends, and you subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for more videos right now, we've got a whole bunch of ones all over the channel you can get to by the links below. If you hit the random button, I promise to send you to a good one. You know you want to. Press it. Press it.